It's common for people to notice a significant shift in their sleep patterns as they age. While in their youth, they might have instantly fallen into the arms of Morpheus the moment their head hit the pillow, enjoying deep, peaceful 8-hour slumbers without a hitch. The picture often changes with years. Now, they might lie awake, eyes wide open, as time seems to crawl and the clock's ticking sounds unusually loud. Midnight turns to 2 a.m., then 3:17 a.m., but sleep remains elusive. Or, having fallen asleep, they suddenly wake at 4 a.m., feeling unrest, unprepared for the new day, and simply forced to be awake. In these moments, staring at the ceiling, they inevitably ask themselves, why can't I sleep like I used to? What exactly has changed? And, most importantly, is this normal? Or is my body trying to tell me something? The truth is, for individuals past the age of 70, sleep is no longer just a routine. It transforms into a vital element of well-being, a lifeline that influences every aspect of existence, from cardiovascular health and cognitive function to maintaining balance and even overall longevity. Yet, many older adults tend to dismiss sleep problems, mistakenly believing it's just another inevitable sign of aging. But what if this belief isn't true? What if these restless nights are subtly but steadily eroding health, hour by hour, day by day? What if waking too early or excessive daytime napping isn't just an annoyance, but a clear signal from the body? This discussion will reveal the real information about how much sleep older adults truly need to live longer, higher quality lives. We'll explore in detail why sleep patterns change after 70, what changes are completely normal, and what, conversely, might serve as a warning sign. You'll also learn about 5 subtle sleep habits that seem harmless at first glance, but can actually do more harm than good. The last one, many will likely wish they had known much sooner. Thus, if you or someone you care about over 70 is struggling with sleep, this information could be exceptionally valuable. Before we delve into the details, consider, has your sleep changed recently? Do you wake up more tired than before? Let's begin this important conversation together, because you are not alone in this. Allow me to introduce Mr. Harold. Harold is 75, a retired mechanic, a man who spent most of his life bent over car engines, his hands stained with grease, his heart full of purpose. He was always an early riser. Even now, years after officially retiring, his alarm still faithfully rings at precisely 5 a.m. He sleeps, perhaps, only about 5 hours a night. No naps, no complaints. He claims he feels great. However, something happened last month that made him think. Harold, while working in his garden, a pursuit he'd dedicated decades to, tripped over a garden hose and fell hard, breaking his hip. His daughter immediately rushed him to the emergency room. And there, the doctor asked her a question she didn't expect at all. How has he been sleeping lately? As it turned out, Mr. Harold had underestimated the insufficient duration of his nighttime rest. He didn't realize that the state of chronic sleep deprivation he was experiencing could steadily erode his balance, slow his reaction time, and weaken his muscle tone. All these factors significantly increase the likelihood of falls and, consequently, more serious injuries. And this is where an important truth becomes evident. Numerous studies show that older adults over 70 still need about 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night. This is required not only for full recovery, but also for maintaining vital functions and overall bodily capability. Scientific research in this area demonstrates unambiguous results. Regular sleep lasting less than 6 hours correlates with an increased risk of heart disease, memory problems, depression, and even premature death. Notably, excessively long sleep, for example, consistently exceeding 9 hours, can be just as risky for health. However, the key point is this: it's not just about the sheer number of hours. Far more important is how those hours are spent. Are you tossing and turning? Do you wake up every hour? Do you get up to use the restroom 3 or 4 times a night? All these signs indicate that the quality of your sleep may be significantly suffering. And it is this aspect that is no less, and sometimes even more, important for overall well-being. Now, let's address a widespread misconception. Many older adults tend to reason, I'm getting older, and I probably don't need as much sleep anymore. However, this statement isn't entirely true. The human body still needs adequate rest. What changes is the body's ability to get it fully. Over time, significant hormonal changes occur in the body. Circadian rhythms can get disrupted, and various aches, pains, and medications can significantly interfere with the natural sleep process. Consequently, instead of needing less sleep, many older adults actually face much greater difficulty in trying to get the amount of rest they still vitally need. So, what can be done in such a situation? Start with a simple but effective step. Carefully track your sleep for a week. It's recommended to record your bedtime, the frequency of nighttime awakenings, and your general well-being in the morning. Do you wake up groggy, foggy, and completely drained of energy? Perhaps your body is sending a warning signal that has gone unnoticed until now. Don't neglect it, because sleep is not just a luxury or a whim. It's a complex life support system for the body. And if this system goes out of balance, all other functions begin to falter. However, it's important to understand that it's not just the number of hours spent sleeping that matters, but also what exactly happens to the body during those hours. This is where the true magic of recovery lies, or, conversely, a potential health hazard. Let's consider the case of Eleonora. She is 78, a retired teacher, a witty, loving woman, one of those who always remembers loved ones' birthdays, bakes pies from scratch, and is invariably ready to offer guests a fragrant cup of tea. She goes to bed around 10 p.m. every night and wakes up around 6 a.m., which totals a full 8 hours of sleep. Nevertheless, lately, she just hasn't felt like herself. Her mornings have become a struggle. She wakes up groggy, forgetful, and a bit irritable. Her daughter, trying to reassure her, says, "It's just age, Mom. You're getting older." But Eleonora intuitively feels that something is wrong. And deep down, she wonders if something else is happening. And she is absolutely right. Because although she sleeps 8 hours, she isn't getting the type of sleep that matters most, deep sleep. The fact is, as people age, the human body naturally spends less time in the slow-wave sleep phase. This is the deep, restorative stage during which true healing and rejuvenation occur. It's during this stage that the brain consolidates memories, tissues repair, the immune system strengthens, and the entire body functions smoothly. Without enough deep sleep, the brain remains foggy, muscles don't recover properly, and mood deteriorates. And over time, the risk of developing serious conditions like dementia, diabetes, and even high blood pressure subtly but steadily increases. Many people often mistakenly believe, if I slept 8 hours, everything is fine. However, not all sleep is created equal. If you wake up several times a night, if you have overly vivid and restless dreams, if you have to nap extensively during the day to compensate for lack of sleep at night, then it's likely your deep sleep is being interrupted. And here's something else important. Some of the most common causes of poor deep sleep are surprisingly easy to address. For example, it could be using electronic screens late at night, an irregular sleep schedule, or a bedroom that's too warm or noisy. Yes, even a quietly running TV in the background can rob you of precious slow-wave sleep. So, what can be done in this situation? Start by creating a calm, consistent bedtime ritual. It's recommended to turn off all screens, TV, phone, tablet, about an hour before bed. This allows your brain to relax without the stimulation of artificial light. Dim the lights, perhaps put on some quiet, relaxing music, or read something light. And be sure your bedroom is cool, dark, and quiet. Think of it as setting the stage, because your body needs the right conditions to fall into that deep, healing sleep. The goal isn't just to increase the number of hours you sleep. The goal is for the hours you do get to truly count and provide maximum benefit. Eleonora is not alone. Millions of older adults, just like her, technically get enough sleep but still feel tired, forgetful, and irritable during the day. And most of them don't even realize what's happening. But now you know. And now, let's talk about something else. Something insidious. Something that at first glance seems like a relief, but can actually subtly drain your vitality. Let's talk about napping. Allow me to introduce George. He's 82. He's a retired mailman. For decades, he walked miles every day, come rain or shine. These days, he's slowed down, of course, which is understandable. But something else is happening. George naps a lot during the day. Once late morning, another right after lunch, and sometimes a third around 5 p.m., right before dinner. He explains it this way: I don't sleep well at night, so I just make up for it during the day. And at first glance, that seems logical. Rest is rest, right? But here's the thing. Over time, George started forgetting little things. Important appointments where he put his keys, the name of a neighbor he used to know by heart. He also became less active, less social, staying home more. His family initially thought maybe it was just age catching up to him. But when they talked to his doctor, a new idea emerged. His napping might be doing more harm than good. Here's what science tells us. Long naps, especially those over 90 minutes, can actually worsen the quality of nighttime sleep. Extended daytime sleep disrupts the body's natural rhythm, preventing it from getting the deep, restorative sleep the brain and body need at night. For older adults, there's an additional, very significant risk. Researchers have found a strong link between excessive daytime napping and cognitive decline. This isn't just temporary forgetfulness. It's about real, progressive changes in brain function over time. Initially, these changes might be barely noticeable. A missed conversation here, a moment of fogginess there. However, over time, they accumulate, leading to more serious consequences. So why do older adults nap so often? The reason lies in the body's fatigue. But this fatigue isn't always what it seems at first glance. Sometimes, it truly is a result of poor nighttime sleep. In other cases, it might be a symptom of an underlying sleep disorder, such as sleep apnea, where a person's breathing periodically stops at night, going unnoticed, leading to exhaustion during the day. And sometimes, it's simply a vicious cycle. A person naps during the day because they're tired, but they're tired precisely because they nap during the day, and so on. It's important to be clear. Napping itself isn't the enemy. In fact, a short nap can be quite refreshing and beneficial. However, the key is this. Naps should be short, lasting 20 to 30 minutes, and planned for earlier in the day. Not too late, not too long, just enough to give your brain a quick reset without sabotaging nighttime sleep. Think of it as a soft system reboot, not a full shutdown. And if you find yourself constantly needing to nap, that's not normal. It's a clear signal your body is sending, whispering that something is wrong with your nighttime sleep. You should listen to that signal, because true rest should energize you, not serve as a substitute for missing sleep. And speaking of factors that hinder restful sleep, let's move on to something even more complex and fundamental. Something that affects each of us, whether we realize it or not. Our body's natural clock. Yes, those internal mechanisms that subtly control when we fall asleep, when we wake up, and how alert we feel throughout the day. Let's talk about your circadian rhythm and what happens when it starts to go awry. Consider Mary. She's 81, a retired librarian. For most of her life, her daily routine was stable and predictable, like clockwork. Dinner at 6 p.m., a little TV, maybe a crossword puzzle, then off to bed around 10 p.m. This rhythm suited her perfectly. However, lately, something has changed. Mary starts yawning by 6:30 p.m. She falls asleep by 8 p.m., like clockwork. And by 4 a.m., her eyes pop open, and she's fully awake. Not because she wants to be, but simply because it happens. She watches the sky go from dark to dawn, feeling tired but unable to fall back asleep. And what's especially strange is that even after 8 full hours of sleep, she still feels exhausted. This isn't just a quirk of old age. It's a phenomenon scientists call advanced sleep phase syndrome, and it's far more common than you might think, especially among people over 70. The fact is, everyone has a circadian rhythm, a natural internal clock that regulates periods of sleepiness and wakefulness. This rhythm is closely tied to light, sunrise and sunset, and hormones like melatonin, which signal the body, hey, time to wind down. But as we age, this rhythm begins to shift. Instead of feeling sleepy at 10 p.m., the body starts to give up at 8 p.m. or even earlier. And instead of naturally waking at 7 or 8 a.m., you're up before the birds, staring at the ceiling, wondering, why am I awake again? This shift isn't just inconvenient. It can be debilitating. Because what often happens is this. You go to bed early, wake up early, but then feel tired throughout the day. So you nap during the day, and then you're less tired at night. So you stay up a bit, but still wake up early. Soon, your entire sleep schedule gets out of sync, and your energy, concentration, and mood suffer. And here's a common mistake. Families sometimes joke it off, oh, grandma's just an early bird. But this shift in timing isn't always natural. It can be caused by reduced light exposure, especially if you spend most of your time indoors. It can be exacerbated by hormonal changes that decrease melatonin production. Even medication timing or a lack of physical activity can make it worse. So what can be done? Here's a simple yet powerful tip. Get sunlight every morning. Go outside. Let natural light hit your eyes. Without sunglasses. This light tells your brain it's morning and resets your internal clock correctly. Then, in the evening, do the opposite. Dim the lights in your home. Avoid screens and bright lights late at night. Wind down gradually. Let your body know that night is coming. And while melatonin supplements can sometimes be helpful, especially for circadian rhythm issues, don't self-medicate. Be sure to talk to your doctor before using them. Melatonin is a hormone, not just a sleeping pill, and its timing matters far more than the dose. When a person's internal biological clock functions in harmony, all body systems work more efficiently. Sleep quality improves, mood stabilizes, and even digestion is optimized. However, if these internal clocks get out of sync, a sense of being disconnected from the world and from yourself can arise. And now, let's move on to a factor that doesn't just disrupt the usual sleep schedule. It can interfere with the rest process in a way that most older adults don't even suspect until the consequences begin to manifest in their physical condition, balance, and memory. We're talking about medications and the subtle chaos they can create during sleep. Consider Betty. She's 76, still has a sharp mind, meticulously keeps up with her doctor's appointments, never misses a dose, and uses a small pill organizer for her tablets, labeled for each day of the week. For many years, Betty slept well, 7 to 8 hours of solid sleep, waking up refreshed, doing her morning stretches, and starting her day with a smile. But then, after a minor heart attack, her doctor prescribed a new medication. Nothing too serious, a common heart drug. She followed the instructions strictly, taking it every night with a glass of water, as she was told. Within a few weeks, Betty started waking up in the middle of the night, sometimes drenched in sweat. Other times, her heart seemed to pound. She tossed and turned. By morning, she felt dizzy, exhausted, and anxious. At first, she thought, maybe it's just part of aging. But it wasn't. What Betty and millions of others don't always realize is that many common medications prescribed to older adults can subtly disrupt sleep. In fact, research shows that over 60% of older adults take medications that directly or indirectly affect sleep quality. Let me give you a few examples. Beta blockers, used for high blood pressure and heart conditions, can reduce melatonin production, making it harder to fall and stay asleep. Diuretics, often called water pills, are another big one. They increase urination, and if taken too late in the day, they can cause you to get up 3, 4, or even 5 times a night to use the restroom. And then there are certain antidepressants, pain relievers, and even over-the-counter allergy medications that disrupt the sleep cycle, especially REM, rapid eye movement, sleep, when the brain restores and organizes memory. And here's the biggest mistake we all make. We often blame aging itself for sleepless nights. Well, I'm just getting older. Maybe this is what sleep looks like now. But in many cases, it's not age. It's the pills in your medicine cabinet. Don't get me wrong, medications can be life-saving, but they also have side effects. And when you're taking multiple medications, these side effects can compound each other and subtly rob you of the deep, restorative sleep your body needs. So what can be done? There's no need to stop taking your medications, but it is crucial to talk to your doctor or pharmacist. You should ask them, could any of these medications be affecting my sleep? Is there a better time of day to take them? Are there gentler alternatives with fewer nighttime side effects? Sometimes, simply shifting a medication from night to morning makes a world of difference. In other cases, there might be an entirely different medication that's a better fit for your body, especially at this stage of life. Sleep shouldn't be a nightly battle, but if medications are causing that struggle, you deserve to know. And you deserve help adjusting, because it's not just about sleep. It's about how you feel the next day, your balance, your memory, your energy, your safety. And when all of that starts to falter, it doesn't just affect you. It affects your whole family, your peace of mind, and the freedom you've worked your whole life to achieve. So, now you know the signs, you've heard the stories, you have the tools, but how do you turn this knowledge into action? Let's talk about the emotional side of all this, and why this awareness might be one of the most loving things you can do for yourself or for someone you care about. It's hard, isn't it? To watch your sleep slip away like sand through your fingers. One night it's tossing and turning, the next it's waking up every hour, not knowing what time it is. And sometimes it's not even you. It's your partner, your mother, your grandparent, someone you love, slowly becoming more tired, more forgetful, more fragile, and you don't know how to help. The nights start to feel longer. The days blend into one another, and a quiet worry settles inside. Is this just aging, or is something deeper happening? But here's what I want you to hold on to. This doesn't have to be the beginning of a slow decline. In fact, this awareness, this deep understanding of what's happening, is one of the most valuable gifts you can give yourself or someone you care about. Because when you understand what's happening with your own body, fear turns into focused action. You move from confusion in the face of change to readiness for it. You stop blaming age for all the problems and instead start looking closely, listening, learning, and taking steps, even small ones, that can make a huge difference. As a result, you don't just survive your later years, you truly own them. So, here's my gentle suggestion. Tonight, before you go to bed, take just 5 minutes. Write down how you felt during the day, what time you woke up, how tired you were, if you napped, how clear you remembered things, or if you felt out of sorts. You don't need an expensive journal for this. Just a simple pen, a piece of paper, and a little curiosity. Or, even better, talk to someone close to you, your spouse, a friend, a sibling. Ask them, how have you been sleeping lately? You might be surprised by what they say, and that conversation might be the beginning of healing for both of you. Because sleep is more than just rest. It's a fundamental foundation for your brain, your body, and your spirit. And while it's easy to feel like time is working against you, the truth is you still have the power to take control. With a little patience, awareness, and a willingness to listen to your body again, sleep can become your ally, your healer, your reset button. Your golden years can still shine brightly, steadily, and strongly. Now, let's recap. Let's take a moment to remember what we've explored together today. Older adults over 70 should still aim for 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep, not just any sleep. We looked at how a lack of deep sleep subtly robs your body of the healing it needs. We uncovered the truth about long naps and how they can confuse your brain and disrupt your nighttime sleep. We delve into the circadian shifts that subtly creep in with age, leaving you feeling out of sync and drained. And we showed how common medications, the very ones meant to help, can disrupt your sleep behind the scenes. This isn't about fear. It's about awareness. What has been your biggest sleep challenge lately? Do you wake up too early? Nap too much during the day? Feel groggy in the mornings? Thank you for taking these minutes with me. Thank you for caring for yourself and those you love. Good night. Stay curious, and may your golden years be filled with wisdom.